Hello and welcome to Disney Movie Investigations, and this is our case file on the Ant-Man and the Wasp. For those of you that have never seen our videos before, this is what we do every week is we take a deep dive into the world of a Disney movie, and we take a look at how it got made, its production history, as well as what future impact it had in the world of Disney. So like I said, this week's video is going to be on Ant-Man and the Wasp, which was released on July 4th, 2018. And it was directed by Peyton Reed, who directed the original Ant-Man movie in 2015. And it had a budget of $195 million. And it had a box office return of $622.7 million. So pretty much staying the course with all Marvel Cinematic movies is it did huge numbers in the box office. Before we get too far into the movie itself, I thought we would take a look at the history of the Wasp character who's introduced in this movie. So the Wasp character, also known as Janet Van Dyne, was first introduced in A Tales to Astonish number 44 in June of 1963. And the character was created by Stan Lee, Ernie Hart, and Jack Kirby. And she's most notably known for being one of the founding members of the Avengers. And she was actually the one that gave the Avengers their name in the comics. As well as in terms of time length, she was the longtime leader of the Avengers. She's only since been surpassed by Captain America. And then she was actually going to be included in the Avengers movie in 2012, but she was cut, unfortunately, during pre-production. And I think the reasoning for that is because they wanted to include her in the Ant-Man movies, which she's more widely known, as opposed to into a little role in the Avengers movie. So in terms of production, this movie was announced almost immediately after the Ant-Man movie came out in 2015. And Peyton Reed had actually expressed interest in directing the sequel, saying he wanted to explore the relationship between Ant-Man and the Wasp. And in July of 2015, Michael Douglas was actually quoted as being quoted campaigning, saying he wanted to return to do the movie, and he also wanted his wife, Catherine Zeta-Jones, to be cast as the Janet Van Dyne character. That role eventually would go on to be Michelle Pfeiffer, but Michael Douglas was heavily pressing for his wife to be included in that. And then Peyton went on to say that he was hoping to explore, like I said, the relationship between Ant-Man and the Wasp. And he would be exploring a lot of flashbacks to look at the history of the two characters as well. And then the Russo brothers, who directed both the Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, were in close collaboration with Peyton Reed, making sure that all the storylines lined up. Because to put it in perspective of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, this was part of Phase 3, and it was right after the Avengers Infinity War, and then Ant-Man and the Wasp was followed by Captain Marvel and Infinity War. So this was kind of the tail end of Phase 3. And everything was being set up for Endgame. So the Russo brothers made sure that all the storylines were in sync when they were doing this movie. In terms of new cast members, because this is a sequel to Ant-Man, Michelle Pfeiffer is playing Janet Van Dyne, like I said. And then Walton Goggins is playing Sonny Birch. And then Hannah John Kamen is Avastar / the Ghost, and then Lawrence Fishburne plays Bill Foster. Sorry, mind fart there. Bill Foster, and these are all new cast members of part of this film. And then in terms of the plot, so in the aftermath of Captain America: Civil War, Scott Lang grapples with the responsibility of both being a father and being the superhero Ant-Man. And as he struggles to struggles with his home life to replace his duties as Ant-Man, he is confronted by Hope Van Dyne and Hank Pym, as they have a new mission to try and find Hank Pym's wife, Janet Van Dyne. And so they have a new mission where Ant-Man must team with the Wasp in order to discover secrets from the past. So like I said, this movie was part of this Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it was hinted at in the Ant-Man movie, the end credit scene, as well as in terms of marketing in January 2018, the Hyundai Motors of America actually announced a partnership where the 2019 Hyundai Velocidor would be heavily featured in this film. And then a lot of Hyundai vehicles are also featured in this film. So they this was product placement at its best type thing, where the vehicle would be featured in the film, and then Hyundai would do an advertising campaign for the movie as well. So trailers were released throughout the summer of 2018, and then it was kind of hinted at with the Marvel's the Avengers Infinity War, how Ant-Man was not featured in that movie because of this movie was coming out shortly thereafter. So the movie did quite well, and there was always talks about a third movie. And actually, just last week, they announced the title of the third movie, and it's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And they announced last week in the investor call for Disney that all the characters would be coming back, and this movie would release in 2022. So this movie also inspired a theme park ride in Hong Kong Disneyland. So Ant-Man and the Wasp Nano Battle opened on March 31st, 2019 in Hong Kong Disneyland. And I've never been to Hong Kong Disneyland yet. That's kind of on my bucket list. But if you're familiar with the park, this attraction replaced Buzz Lightyear's Astro Blasters. And it's a very similar ride to the Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters. It's the same track layout and everything. They've just replaced the storyline. So the plot of the ride is that guests are sworn in as junior agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and with the assistance of Ant-Man and the Wasp, they are to battle Arnim Zola and his army of swarm bots. And so each guest, the ride vehicle fits 2 adults or 3 with a small child, and they board the ride vehicle use their guns to shoot the targets to destroy the swarm bots. And throughout the ride, you get different points for the swarm bots. And then the final scene, you actually do battle with Arnim Zola. And there is a scene in the ride where you shrink down to the size of an ant and grow back up again. So I think that's kind of cool. And this ride's very successful. I'm hoping it'll be brought stateside, but not that I want to get into it now, but there's a huge kind of legal kerfuffle with the Marvel rides appearing in Walt Disney World because of Universal Studios has the master licensing agreement. So unfortunately, Walt Disney World can't have any Marvel rides within, I think it's like 200 miles of the Mississippi River. So unfortunately, this won't be appearing in Walt Disney World anytime soon, but I'm hoping maybe Disneyland, especially once they get the Avengers campus kind of in phase 2 to expand. I would hope to see this ride in Disneyland one day, knock on wood, hopefully. So in terms of final thoughts of the movie, I think this is a great movie, a follow-up to the Ant-Man movie. It's a great action movie. It's a little bit more action-oriented than the first movie, but it still has that humor side to it, which is accustomed to Paul Rudd and his kind of style. And I just think it's a great follow-up. And it's a great setup for Avengers Endgame as well. So I think that's awesome. And then you kind of have, it kind of flows seamlessly within the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I think it's a great kind of movie that you guys should check out. So yeah, looking forward as well to the third Ant-Man movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So kind of to further on that Ant-Man thing, because he's turning out to be one of my favorite Marvel Cinematic heroes. So yeah, so that's going to do it for this week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Our next video is going to be the winner of our December poll, which was Christmas movies. So the winner was Elf. So we are going to take a deep dive into the world of Elf. So I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Thanks and have a great day.